Hey class, welcome to the Eyewitness Testimony essay. I'm hoping everybody pays close attention to this week's assignment because there are some major deductions when students don't really pay close attention. I'm also going to show you an example on how to write the essay. You mimic it the same way, same kind of like way it's structured, because this is a little different. Now, this is an academic essay still. Don't get me wrong. It's an academic essay, but it's more of summarizing articles and then coming to a conclusion. Okay? There should be no first person analysis. So one thing I want to point out, this is where students get almost a zero up, major deductions up to a zero for the whole assignment, is they put in their opinion. No academic essay is going to be about your opinion. Okay? Unfortunately, students are not experts in the academic realm. Um, I respect experiences, knowledge, personal experiences, stuff like that. I get that. So it's not like meant to be a disrespectful knock on who you are, where you come from, or your experiences. But in the academic realm and writing academic essays, it's about what research states. So when you're discussing eyewitness testimony, you're not saying I believe eyewitness testimony is reliable. You're not. It's a conclusion that you came from the research articles. As clearly stated, uh, eyewitness testimony is or is not reliable. Whatever conclusion you came from finding the articles. Okay, so keep that in mind. As it says right here in the directions, writing in third person using support from research to support position. Now, even though it says your position, it's not yours to be writing in first or second person. That's why in the beginning it says writing in third person. So keep that in mind, okay? Another big key step here is that you don't have to do your own word search in a GCU library because you are required to use the GCU library. You're required to find two peer-reviewed journal articles on eyewitness testimony. You'll be using this search terms. So in a GCU library, you're going to put memory and eyewitness. Okay. So just type that out, memory and eyewitness, and then make sure you put a check mark in that peer reviewed box. Okay. We know that there's articles there to choose from. You do not have to choose articles that fit your viewpoint. Don't worry about that. Just find two interesting articles that might be conflicting or might not be conflicting. They both might say they're reliable, they both might say they're unreliable. It doesn't matter which combination you get. Find two interesting articles that you're going to read and then summarize in the essay. So this is like almost like the first part's going to be a summary type. So you're not the summary means that there's no quoting, there's no word for word type stuff. It's all in your own words. There should be absolutely zero quoting. So you'll read the article and you're going to summarize key points. So you'll have two articles to do that with. Okay, and I'll show you how to break this up into three different sections. One section is going to be the summary of one article. Second section is going to be the summary of the second article. And then the third section is going to discuss this part. Based on the information you read, is eyewitness testimony reliable or unreliable? All right. And then you want to connect it to a memory theory. Okay. So let me show you the example to keep it very basic and simple. So you should have seen the template that I posted in the post for this tutorial. Okay. So you're going to put your name, you're going to fill this stuff out, put the date. This is my name right here. Just make sure you have it filled out. Type directly on the template. Don't type anywhere else. Um, and then copy and paste it into the template. That will mess up the format. You'll lose up to 10% easily. Okay. But right here, I want to point something out that all academic essays are to have an introduction. Okay. So this example here, this individual wrote an introduction and has a solid bottom sentence. It's a solid um, thesis statement. Okay. So every every essay, including this one, has to have an introduction. So notice how this individual said in this essay, there will be an exploration instead of saying, I will discuss in this essay, because that's not correct. Okay. It's all got to be in third person. Okay. So that's the basis of the introduction. Now, the there's a best way to write this summary. Best way to write and cite, just to kind of show you, and I would probably copy the way I'm doing this, is you see how there's a heading here, okay? This is sometimes a little too long for a heading, but I'm okay with it in my class, as long as it's not longer than this. But you can put part of the title of the essay on title of the article you're using. But what this individual did is, you see, here's article, the first article review, and then as I scroll down here, here's the second article review. Okay, so notice how they're separate. So that's what you're going to do. All right. So always put in the beginning of this summary article this right here, where you're actually declaring which article you're summarizing. So I would start with the article and mention the article name, or you can state, research done by, and put the researcher's name in there as part of the citation. But I would stick with this, and then each paragraph has to have a citation. And since you're only discussing this article in each paragraph that you write, you could just put you can go to the general rule of just putting the citation at the end of the paragraph instead of putting it throughout. So the rule is, if you're only using one article in the paragraph to discuss or to summarize, you could put the citation down here. And if you notice at the bottom of every paragraph, you know, that's what I have here, okay, is citation. And notice that the citations are just last names and year. Okay, there's no initials, there's no any abbreviation or anything like that. So just to kind of reiterate it again, if I see this written and there's a citation at the bottom like this with the researchers' names of the citation, then that's indicating that everything summarized in this paragraph comes from this one article, which would probably be the same article as what's mentioned here in the beginning of the whole section of this part of the essay. Okay, so if you keep going down, you'll see that. Same thing, you come to the second article and you summarize it. All right, and if you notice again, this individual also put the title and the citations at the bottom of every paragraph. So the best advice on summarizing is summarizing the key points of each article, and also it's also good to add specific examples. The researchers in these articles will not just talk about eyewitness testimony and some of the things that have happening in their study, but they get sometimes they'll go into specific court cases. Add that if you're wondering how you could break down the article and summarize when summarizing. So again, notice how it's separated, two sections. They're not together summarized. Don't integrate it together, because it's good to see that you have two separate sections discussed on each article and make it thorough. Okay. And then the reliability. Now, this individual called it reliability conclusion. This individual actually went in and discussed how, based off of the two articles that were written, that they summarized above, did it come to a conclusion as reliable or unreliable? Okay, and they also used the textbook, like as stated, used chapter 7 of textbook, and they also threw in their misattribution. All right, so they integrated it, they made a discussion, and they actually discussed how uh, it is not reliable or reliable. It just depends on what your article say. Let's see. This person says that eyewitness accounts are reliable if witnesses are used appropriately, because despite a solid conclusion on the reliability as a whole, there are parts that are reliable. So I've seen essays written where, and this eyewitness, where actually the conclusion was they're unreliable. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm not seeking an answer to see if you're right or wrong. I'm seeking how you can use research to analyze, summarize, and analyze if eyewitness testimony is reliable. Okay, so I hope this helps shed some light. And just make sure that you have your sources down here too. All right. Alphabetical order like this is perfect. And what you have here should be cited. So if you have no citations, in your essay above, and you just maybe put the heading as the name of the article and no citations, then there's no credit for using these articles because you have to cite too. So cite what you reference. And notice how I gave a very simple example of if you're just using this source in a paragraph, you can just cite it down there. Or you could also cite it like according to, and that also helps as well. Put the author's names like that. All right, so I don't want to drag on this tutorial too much longer. It's already at 10 minutes, but you got the basis of this. So if you have any questions regarding this tutorial, please reply or let me know in your private forum. Thanks.